This is the right hand guard replacement patch or panel. Now, this is off another aftermarket guard, so I'm actually going to use this. Before I go ahead and do all that, I need to make sure that the sill is going to fit, and this is an aftermarket sill as well. I need to make sure that the sill is going to fit with the door and have that lower gap as well, so it's all perfect. So I need to get this sill on now and make sure it's right. The top section's all lining up really nicely. I'm really happy with that, and that's very important. So before I do that, I'm gonna have to fit a door on, and I can show you up here. The same thing on the right hand side with the door hinges. They've been cut off and half welded on. So I need to fix that problem now as well. Alright, that's a new section I'm going to use. The beauty about this is, this guard was actually original where the spot welds were, and it was never off before. So that gives me a really good idea where where this guard and how far this door is out. So it's always nice to have that if it's original and hasn't been removed. Now, a bit different to Dad's side. His side was an absolute mess. So it's a lot harder to get a little bit of an idea where his guard needs to go. But luckily, we have this to go off and we can build the whole front. Once this side's perfect, then we can get a good idea and it gives us a little bit, it makes it a little bit easier for us to line the whole front up. In saying that though, it looks easy, and then this is going to give me a really good idea where this right-hand door needs to be. What are you doing?
I'm checking out this door. Well, that's a bad lineup. That's a bad fit. That's I can't believe the drop in the sag in that door.
Let me guess, mate, it's made your day?
Oh, no, it hasn't actually. Quite the opposite.
Right. It's pretty bad, hey?
That is one of the worst fitting doors I've encountered, that.
The problem is I've had a really good look at it. Now I want to see what you think. Like, I've looked at everything around the door. I've looked at the door frame, everything, the shell, and it all comes back down to those cut hinges where they've been welded back on.
Incorrectly put back together.
Yep.
Yep, not good. So you're going to have to go back to square one with this, as though there was no door ever fitted onto this.
Yeah.
You're going to have hinges off, everything, back to a bare opening, striker plate, door lock, the whole lot. Yep. And that door, it doesn't look too bad, the frame, like you said, it looks pretty square and true still. A little bit funny at the back here, but the door itself is not, well, it's not a mess.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's a little bit untidy, but it's pretty good. So to get this right, it's going to be play with those hinges and play with those hinges to get it right.
Yep.
Bit by bit, a couple of mil here, a couple of mil there, then your door lock and your striker. Because they're welded hinges, they're not a bolt-on hinge, it's just patience and time with this stuff to get that gap, because you've gone about it the right way, you've stripped it back to bare. That's why you're at with this. But to get that back on where it needs to be, that has to go back to absolute basics, nothing on that, no hinges, and start again to get it right.
Yep. Yeah, door hinges off and I'll go from there.
Don't get impatient, you're just going to have to take your time with that.
Oh, why not?
Mate, you know what it's like, these welded hinges, how fun they are not. But yeah. Once they're on, and that's the one thing with a welded hinge, the beauty part about them is when they're on and they're fitted up correct, they're a damn good thing, because they're just a knockout pin if you want to take the door off later, or you have to.
Yeah.
And then if you want to put it back on, simple, tap back in pin. And I don't mean flog back in, if that thing's fixed properly and those hinges are sitting true to each other.
Yeah.
When you put the door on and you go to put those pins in, don't flog them in, you got an issue.
Yeah.
They should just tap, tap, tap.
Yeah, good little tip there, Pops.
And you move on from there with them, but they should fit like that.
Yeah, just going nicely, and I'm looking forward to just getting that door just to close nice. Like, I can understand why he wanted the car done.
There's no excuse to that. That is just terrible fit up.
Yeah, and the pressure, like when you open that, just do that again and I'll hold the camera here.
Listen to this.
And then let your hand off. Hold the top in and you'll watch it bounce out, push back. Yeah, that's not how a door should sit.
Should be no stress on that door when it's fitted up right, when it sits back in the hole there.
Yeah.
And it should just do one click and then a gentle click, not have to be forced and that to make it shut.
That's one thing I learned with Pops over the years. If those doors aren't closing easily, they're not fitting correctly.
You've either got the shell's got an issue, or the door's got an issue, or both, or it's just a really bad fit up, one way or another.
Yeah.
When a door's on right, there should be no wind noise, no leak, and that you're going to have a little bit of pressure because you've got your door rubber for your door seal.
Yeah.
But just enough that it just shuts nice and gently, and that's all you need.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it should all fit in correct everywhere. But that's going to be your little fun for the next couple of days, mate.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can think of many other ways I can have fun. Hey, Pops.
Yeah, right. Fitting a door up, mate. That's going to be fun for you.
Oh, mate, come on.
Say, you know what I always say? Someone's got to do it, and this time it's you, not me.
Why can't you do it?
I'm busy. See ya.
All right, just before I pull this door off, come have a quick look, Pops, and you can see what the hinges look like. I'm going to clean them up, grind them back, make them look all nice and mint again. Beautiful and nice, mate.
Unlike yourself.
Now, that's what I need to do now, and yeah.
and I'll explain what this little job's about. So I've fabbed up this little piece, this little filler panel, and what I've done, I've wanted a nice, really nice little crisp fold on that, which I've achieved by having that in there like that on the bench. And it's a two-fold thing, this. And also what I was after was a nice profile shape to go on the top of the inner skirt there. So what I've done is, and I'll explain this hopefully so you can get this, you might want to try this, it might be a good little trick in the trade. So you basically don't need a shrinker to do this, or a stretcher, if you know how to go about it. All steel has a grain, and if you understand it, another way to do little tricks like this is exactly what I've done here. I've had that clamped in there as you can see, and then tap along the side of it, get it down really nicely, nice profile, and I've had the other bit of flat there clamped onto it so it won't move. And so hence, when I've gone right along the edge of that piece of steel, what it's done is actually expanded that steel along that little lip or flange. So I was after the shape to fit on top of the skirt. So what it's done in essence is expanded that as I've tapped it all, and it's forced that steel down both ends. And hence it's given me that nice radius shape to it, and that's what I was after. So that's a little trick you can try. So you come over here and I'll just show you exactly why I've done it.
Righto, Pops. This better be good.
Oh, trust me, mate, it won't be good, it'll be brilliant. So basically there's the old profile. It's somewhere in the form or the shape that it should have been, but as you can see, that's the shape to it there. And hence, tapping this steel the way I have, it's given it the shape. So instantly, you've got a good direction to go in. So what I'll do is now, once I get this exactly where I want it to go, I'll then chop the top of that right along there. I'll snip that right out. That'll get rid of that. And because, like I know earlier there in previous videos or a previous video, we wanted to try and save this. Yeah. But as I've got right into it, it's just beyond it. There's not enough meat there. It's probably a good half gone, to be honest. Yeah, it's pretty buggered by the looks of that, Bobs. It's seen better days, it truly has. So I thought, no, it's got to have the strength back to it, which it's got now with this, or it will have. So I'm going to snip that off there, take that piece away, get rid of that right through that whole top. But from there back, it's still got full factory meat. A couple little holes where the spots have been drilled out. That's not an issue whatsoever. They'll plug up really good again. But from there down, basically, you can see where it's beyond it. There's no hope for that. So I thought to save a lot of drama and a better result in the end, I'd fab this little piece of filler panel up. And as I say, for the shape, as you can see there that I've got into it now, it'll lay on there. Yeah, it's developed that curve. Yep, it's got the beautiful radius to it. No stress, that'll just go on there, lay on there, and then I'll change this end a little bit to make it sit down right into the front of the rad support there. Yep. But it's almost wanting to sit really good at the moment. Tiny little bit more, give that a little bit more of a hammer there, and that'll just pull that down a little bit more. And then, as I say, what I'll do is I'll chop that right through, that'll be gone, sit that in, I'll tack it into place. You'll see as I go how it all works, and once it's all tacked in, then I can get fair dinkum and seam it all up. But once it's all finished up and dressed up, that'll be really good again. And it's got the nice little profile fold on the top there to match this factory up again. You will never know that's been replaced when it's finished. Alrighty, so there's a good little trick. Might need that somewhere along the way. If you don't, you got the knowledge anyway. Yep.
Man, it sure is thin, isn't it?
That is not good.
That is what you call SHIT house.
There's only one direction for that. It's called a scrap bin.
Yeah, it's too thin.
And I'll just set this up here roughly, just to start off with, so you get the general drift to where I'm at. The whole difference when that sits back in there.
Yeah, that's much better.
I'll come back a little bit further up to here, but it just gives you a look at how it'll fit up in the end.
Nice.
And that'll sit down in there. That guard will go back on there. It'll spot on beautiful.
Mate, beautiful and nice.
Like I said, I'll try and fluke one.
Beautiful and nice, Pops. Alrighty, good work. Okay, so I've just finished cutting off the hinge plate, and if you can see there with the honeycomb weld, and that's where we talk about penetration. Now you don't want honeycomb weld like that. That is a bit sketchy. Now, as we go back to the safety in these repairs, that's the sort of stuff that needs to be really penetrated and welded, because if someone gets in an accident, and if the door gets ripped off, you know, it just makes the car weaker, and your life's more, well, vulnerable, I guess. This hinge now, I'm going to replace the barrel, and you can see there how sloppy the pin is. It's just sliding through there really easily. So luckily we've got the new barrels and new pins to put in there, so I'll cut that off and replace them. And then it'll be a really good thing. Like, the doors will be nice and tight, like Pops' side, and it'll be like a new car, nice and safe as well. Okay, so I've got the new pins and the new barrels, and Dad's already been to Steve's and he's put it on the lathe, so they fit absolutely perfectly like so. Now they're going to come up beautiful and nice when they're all tacked onto the door and all that. Let's check out what Pops is doing. Pops, how's it going, all right?
Yeah, real good. I'm real happy with that. It's come up good enough for prime now. I'll give it that nice, about 2 coats of primer should do that. Rub back.
That looks good. Hey, grab that ruler. I just want to check your work out here.
Okay, no problem. I'll give it the acid test. Nice little straight edge. Be able to see how good that work really is. How about that?
Let me have a look.
Good enough, mate, or not?
Shit, not bad, Pops. What do you got, a mil there out?
Mate, you're blind. That's not a mil, that's probably half mil,
Mate,
if that.
that's not good enough.
So what, am I fired?
Yep, you have to look for another job, mate.
No,
that looks bloody good, Pops.
No, it's come up good. She's nice and strong, nice and solid. Plenty of meat back in that.
Now that, I've got to say, that's why I love file finishing.
Yeah,
because of
same.
that.
Yep.
Like, have a go at that metal finish, hey, and you just strong.
Done deal, ready for some primer. Righto, now we're about to erect this paint mixing bank, but the one thing that I will make abundantly clear before these gentlemen start on it is that PPG is all about workplace health and safety. That is their main priority for their workers and everyone concerned.
Yeah, Darryl, so what we've got here is a box full of the mixing machine. All our parts are in here, and what we've got over in that corner there is a 25 kilo motor.
Yep.
We've got a trolley for that, so that'll we won't pull that out of there, so we'll break this box down and put this on a trolley and move it around. So
everything done with this is done at no risk to you personally?
That's correct, absolutely. With PPG, we make sure that everything is done at a safe pace. So, yeah.
And that's the correct way to go about it?
Yes, definitely. What we'll do is, I've got some gloves, so we'll get some gloves on with these. So some of this gal sheeting here and gal benches have got some sharp edges on that, so we always wear gloves with those. So yeah, so that'll protect me from getting any paper cuts and any cuts on that metal there. So
yeah, we don't want to send you off in your ambulance, mate.
No, mate, no. We've got a bit to do here yet. So what we'll do is hook into this and get this installed.
So you've done a few of these, Steve. You put a few of these up.
Yeah, it's 18 years in the business, so I've had my fair share of building mixing banks.
Yep.
So
you do it in your sleep, mate.
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eyes closed.
Yeah. All right, everyone, welcome aboard today. Something a little bit different. We've got the boys from PPG out. I've got Steve here.
Darryl, thank you for having me.
Pleasure, mate. Glad you're here.
Yep.
And Steve will tell you what his role is with PPG.
I'm tradesman spray painter. I've held various roles throughout the PPG business. I'm now currently the regional sales manager for Queensland, so supporting the field guys, as well as jumping in supporting some of our larger customers. So yeah.
And Graham, how are you, mate?
Good, thanks, mate.
Good to see you.
Yes, likewise. I'm the territory manager for South West Queensland. I look after all the majority of the customers west of Toowoomba, out to Tenterfield and Charleville. So I'm a tradesman for 39 years as a painter, and then moved into this role as a territory manager.
Okay, so between Graham and Steve, the experience there is nearly 70 years for these lads, and they would have tried every scenario and seen everything that goes and doesn't go with painting cars. Correct, boys, I assume?
100%.
Yes.
Yep.
Used a lot of product over our time.
Yep.
Rubbed a lot of cars, blocked a lot of cars, so...
Worn a lot of fingers out?
Yes, going back we did, yes. A lot of restoration work.
Yep.
Painted just about everything that you could think of.
Yep. And that's the thing with PPG. The staff, the technology that they have, they only have the very best of the best, and that's why we've partnered up with these people. But these lads are here today to set a mixing bank and a system up for us, which I think you guys can run through and explain how that works, because I'm not really up to speed like you boys.
No, that's okay, Darryl. Well, we've already started putting this machine up here. What we've got is a 2 metre bank. This is where all our tinders go. These are our shelves. If you would like to come around, Darryl, we'll just give you a bit of a look. But these are our 1 litre shelves. Okay. Down the bottom, we've got our 4 litre shelves. So they're the bigger tints down the bottom.
Righto.
So shaft driven over here and cogs throughout the shelving.
Okay.
So,
Mate, just out of curiosity, do you know what actually litrage that would hold all up, that bank?
look, I'm thinking there's about 90 tinters, Steve, is there?
Yeah,
Something
about
like
90
that.
base coat tinters.
90
Most of them are 1 litres. Quite a few 3.5.
3.5, so there's well over 100, like you say, 91 litres, some 4 litres or 3.5s down the bottom. So let's say there's well over 100 litres of product on this now. And
so by the time that's all set up and that's fully stocked, that machine's got some work there to drive that and stir that?
Oh, absolutely. What we've got here, we've got some strapping. We'll strap all this down at the back, cross strapping, and also got a support here as well. But yeah, once that winds up, We need that nice and tight, everything bolted down firm and tight, so it doesn't start moving around. And look, it doesn't make a lot of noise at all, and doesn't move around at all. So it's quite a well-built machine.
So mate, for us, from our perspective, we flick the switch and that's on a timer, is it?
That's on a timer. It's on a 15-minute timer. So you come in every morning, hit the green button, that'll turn on and it'll turn off every 15 minutes. So that'll just agitate everything every day for you. You can turn it on throughout the day, that's not a problem. Sometimes I suggest to do that if you might have, in bigger shops you've got multiple painters, keep everything agitating, keep it going. So that's...
The rotation would be fairly, in a big concern, would be fairly frequent.
Yes, yes. It's good to keep the primers going. You'll be using primers there on the bottom 2 shelves, and the 1 litres are up here, but look, keep it agitated is a better way.
Keep the shelf life and everything.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
They won't harden up. You know, not often they will do that, but you leave stuff sitting around, the solvent will evaporate out of it. So,
And as far as you're concerned, Steve, like the automotive industry, from your side of it all, how is product, how would you say the user side of it going? Plenty happening?
Plenty happening, plenty of growth. Fortunately, during the COVID period, there's been plenty of cash around, so people have been dragging their, family cars out of the shed and doing restos on them, and
coming out of the mothballs.
Buying Commodores and all sorts of stuff, and you see that how much everything's gone up. So yeah, there's been plenty of growth, particularly with our Vibrance range.
Show car side. So
restos, and
the whole deal. It's really cracking along well.
It's cracking along. Plenty getting built.
So as far as Graham's role in it, he's more of a on the floor type person. You come out to the shops.
On the floor, Darryl, territory manager, in the shops all the time, and looking after that territory. In with the painters and the technicians to make sure that they're following all the procedures. What we try and do is set everything up so there's a lot of efficiency out there. We try and get everything running smoothly, so at the end of the day we've been efficient about everything that we do.
Plenty of technical support.
Plenty of technical support. You'll see later when we set up the paint room that all the safety data sheets, the technical data sheets, they'll be all on the computer, so you'll see all that.
That's brilliant. You can see the insight there, why we've partnered with PPG. Obviously good guys, they know their stuff, they've been around a long time, the R&D that they've put into their product over the years, and the expense side of the material is a big deal when it comes to a lot of people. When you're doing a resto, you can spend $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on a job, but as far as we're concerned, you do all that effort, you run the race for months and months, to trip over at the end for a few bucks is not a good deal. So cheap is not always better. We like to use a quality product, so you know that when it's finished, that job will go down the road for another 20, 30 years, whatever, and it's done right with a top quality product, which this is. And I think from my perspective as a painter over the years, I've tried it all, seen it all, and come back to PPG. And these gentlemen here have probably done the same in their careers. And you learn, you travel that road, and you know what works. It comes from sheer experience, and that's why we've come back to the PPG.
Back to the PPG brand,
Brilliant system, looks great finished, and it's massive in the show car world and resto world. But that's my perspective, and it's just good to have these lads on board. Thanks, Steve.
Darryl, thank you for having me.
Looking forward to doing business, mate. And Graham,
thank you.
Thank you, mate, for all your technical support up to date.
Not a problem at all, thank you.
Pleasure to have them boys on board.
Oh mate, just about finished.
Good work.
Last couple of tinners going in now.
Beautiful. Wow, that's looking impressive.
Yeah, yeah. That's all the base coat tinners you got set up there.
Nice.
So that's all up and running and it all works well. Well, like I say, everything's been agitated there, so that's good.
She's a good thing, she's a goer.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
you blokes should fly the space shuttle probably after.
Oh, I'm not sure about that, Darryl. Oh mate, I see you setting this up last week as well.
Yeah, we did. We
Hey?
got it together and we're getting ready to test fly all that. But,
Oh, good.
I
Good.
think, you know, as we put that together, they're a quality thing.
Yeah, yeah. Look, electric vacuum and sanders, they're very efficient. So, mate, we'll have another chat about that later, and probably the next episode we can
All right.
do a little bit on the Merca as well. Finish off with that, but no, with the blocks and the sanders, 8mm and a 5mm, they're quite good for different surfaces. So.
Okie doke. Right. But we'll get into that later on
Yeah,
down the
yeah.
track, right?
I think so.
All right, well boys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You've done a good thing for us.
Thanks, mate. So,
Darryl,
Thanks, Steve.
thanks for the day.
Absolute pleasure.
No worries.
And of course, we're going to do more stuff down the track.
Yep, do some product.
All right,
Yeah.
thanks boys.
rightio then.
Thanks.
See you, boys.
Thanks, Steve.
No worries. Thanks.
Thanks,
Mick,
Graham.
thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Not a problem at all.